Hello, dear friends. Now we are in the convention center again, and I would like to ask this gentleman, Kyle, again. Hello.
Hello.
Nice meeting you.
Yes.
Yes. So I have some friends asking me questions and about a growing pain, about moving on out of college. And one of my friends is out of college, and she's asking, or he is asking, what do you do to prepare yourself?
Yeah.
And you just mentioned you were just graduate from school and got a job. Would you like to share some of your growing pain and get people inspired and get people have that empathy and encourage people going through the difficulties?
Yeah, you bet. Growing up, and if you're in college and getting ready to graduate, it's likely that you've been successful along the way already.
Yes.
And that was the case for myself. I was a good student. I was involved in a lot of things. I was an athlete, and so when I went to college, all those things continued. I still was very involved on campus. I went to a small college. Very involved on campus, was an athlete, and a good student. All my identity was wrapped up in that.
Yes.
I was literally, I think I tried to be involved in other things and build relationships with other people, but at the end of the day, I was a person who wore a certain jersey number, and that was who my identity was linked to that very closely.
Okay, a secret question.
Yes.
Were you popular at that time? You were too good to be popular, right?
I was. I think I had a lot I yes.
Okay, that's lucky.
Yes, and I guess I don't talk about this much, but it is relevant in that I played on a college football team, and football is really popular, and I was a star player and won lots of awards, and our team was very good. So when you're in those situations, you're always in the newspaper, and there's always people, you get to go do things and all this stuff. But then what happens, and although everyone might not share in that unique experience, we each have our own unique experiences. And anytime that you come through transition, sometimes you see it coming. College is 4 years, 5 years. Graduate school is a couple years, maybe 4 if you're working on a doctorate, those type of things. So sometimes you see the transitions coming. Other times it's like hitting a brick wall. You don't see it coming at all. It could be a loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a job. It could just be a sudden move, a lot of different types of things. But whatever that transition stems from, what happens is you lose pieces of your identity, or that's the way you feel.
That is true.
So when I took off my football uniform for the last time, that part was gone from me. And I remember feeling when I took off my jersey for the last time that was it. That chapter was closed.
That was such a glorious part in your life.
It was, and for my whole life, that is what I had done. And I knew I was really fortunate to have reached a place in my life where I knew that chapter was closed, and I was thankful for it, and now it was time to think about opening a new one.
Okay.
But I had no idea what that was going to be. And that, particularly for a person, again, if a person is in college, that means they've already had success.
Yes.
They are used to doing things well, getting the right answers, doing what you're supposed to do, and that uncertainty can be very shaking.
Very shaking.
Well, now what am I supposed to do? And so when I was in college, everyone expected that I myself included, I would maybe coach in college beyond that. And then I thought, no, I want to explore different parts of my identity. I saw an opportunity to think about, well, what parts of me and my identity in this world have I not explored yet, because of this great experience that I had, but also one that took a lot of time and energy and all those things. So I actually was also the speaker at my college graduation, and I was the student speaker at the graduation. And about 2 weeks prior to that graduation, I had a decorated athletic career. I was a star athlete, all those things. I was the graduation speaker, and I had not only did I not have a job lined up, but I didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do or what I could
do. For tomorrow, nothing?
Nothing. And that's a lot of pressure. On top of your own uncertainty,
yes.
When people come to you and they say, oh, what are you doing now? And you say, I really don't know. That uncertainty can be very scary because we like things to be stable. We like things that we know, clean lines, answers. We like those things. So what happened, I literally had a moment where I just said, well, I have been trying to figure out a plan here and make a plan and decide what I want to do, all those type of things. And I thought to myself, maybe I need to start thinking more about what I should do and think about what talents and skills and relationships and experiences I've been blessed with and what should I do with those to do some good.
Maybe
Please.
I direct in another direction. Yes. Is that you were so good in one thing, which I
yes.
saw in students. Yeah. Sometimes they are so good at one thing.
Yeah.
This good thing become a burden
yes.
to cover them, to blind them to discover new things.
Yes.
On the other hand, because of the success, they build up a lot of strength in the students,
correct.
More confidence.
Yes.
And how do you see that your success
yes.
become an asset to move on?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I think the way you articulated that is right on point. I think when you're, for example, for me it was athletics, it was football. I worked on it every day for probably 15 years. You know, it wasn't the only thing I was interested in, but my entire day revolved around when I had to be lifting weights or running or at practice or traveling for a game and those things. And so through that you learn discipline and perseverance, and yes. When you go through injuries you learn about the recovery from those things and all those different you learn to work together with your teammates, all these things. And I think at the time when I was going through those transitions and on a daily basis now, I'm aware that the things that I learned through that experience, I draw on them every day and I think of them actively. And so I would, although it was a tremendous challenge, and I feel very, very fortunate and blessed that I was able to, with a lot of support from other people, navigate those challenges. At least I continue to try to 10 years later, because a lot of people struggle mightily and for their entire lives to come out from underneath that experience. So even though it is a struggle, and I see many people struggle with those types of things, the things that I learned from that experience, the relationships I built with other people, the skills that I learned about hard work and perseverance, being goal-driven, all those type of things, I could never trade for the world. And it's a direct report. You know, this morning we heard Maya Angelou talk about
yes.
rainbows in
yes.
clouds in her lives. And I think the people that surrounded me in that time, my mother, a single mom, worked multiple jobs. She had, when I was young, she had breast cancer, all these different types of things. My mother I played in 57 college football games, she came to 56 of them. Traveled all over the country, and the only reason she missed a game was because on the same day my younger brother was playing in the state championship in a game.
Wow.
So you have family support. My dad came to games, my grandparents would come to games. You had community support.
Yes.
You know, people from the community that don't know you at all that come up and tell you, you know, you'd be in the grocery store and they say, great job, you know,
yeah.
all those things. You have coaches.
I saw you on newspaper.
Yeah, right. And you have coaches that are with you all the time. And I was very fortunate, and I think there are many coaches like this. Unfortunately, there are some that maybe don't do this quite as well. They lose track of why they got into coaching. But I had coaches all the way through who really valued the person. They wanted you to be good at football, but they wanted you to be a great person too.
Okay, I'm sure people
yes.
want to listen to you. We will stop here, and
Great.
the next video you will develop your thoughts. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so very much. And I will think of more questions
okay.
also.